Woman. So make sure you tune in.
If you want to make a positive shift in your health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness, start with the tools to redefine your mind. At LeJune Singleton, we help you create the mental space needed for change. Next, we provide in-person and virtual personal training, health, mindset, nutrition, and wellness coaching services. Importantly, we offer accountability and support. Book your consultation today online at lejunesingleton.com.
Menopause is not a disease, but a transition where we can all work together. That's why we're excited to have MAP, the Menopause Advocate Program, where implementing the 4A method in the workplace promotes health and well-being strategies, which increases performance, productivity, and profitability. For more information, visit bit.ly/ all capital letters, MAP-PRO. Or you can reach out directly to Carlita Bass-Knight Menendez at 912-322-8380.
Y'all, we back in this thing, energized, heard, new week, new topic.
Hello and good evening, everyone. We are back with another episode of Strong Black Woman, and I'm excited to be here. But listen, before we kick in, I want the ladies to say, hey. How y'all doing? I'm so excited to be back here again with you all. I will say right up front, we are missing one of our powerhouses, but it's okay. We're going to keep the show going because she'll be back next week right here with us. Carlika, we miss you, girl. But Tavis is going to kick us off. Tavis is going to be leading us tonight. Listen, I don't know what this conversation is about to be about, okay? But it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a real good time. So Tavis, it's on you. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
I know, right? Hey, ladies. I'm so excited about tonight and everything that's going on and all that we're doing. Listen, this is epic, right? Y'all do understand that this is like an epic time and epic moments. Like we're out of a pandemic and systemic and all the mix, and we're just like, wait a second. The genius. Can we just give it up for the genius, the brains? Everybody knows Tamika is beauty and brains. Can we just kind of like clap for her being bold? Oh, yeah, we do. We snap our fingers, being bold enough to say, you know what? I'm everything. I'm every woman. I'm brilliant. I'm bright. I got 2 babies. I got a husband. I got the dog. I got the picket fence. But wait a minute. I want to give up my invisible cave. I no longer want to have to be or feel like I have to be superwoman, super mom, super wife, super. And somewhere along the way, right? Somewhere along the way, we kind of got it misconstrued. Now, I don't know if it's because of our culture, the way that we were raised, whatever your background and your story is, you get to navigate and you get to change your own narrative and rewrite your story. Mm-hmm. We are some game changers. We are some trailblazers, and we're going to be transparent with you on tonight as we have this discussion about healthy relationships and parenting. And all of those things, we get to talk about the good stuff. So in my parenting world, and Tamika knows me from my parenting world as well, I'm the transparent mom. So for her to trust me today, she knows that I'm very transparent in hopes that you will be reflective. But first, I want my co-hosts to introduce themselves. Can we give it up for the media mogul, Tamika Chapman? Woo!
Hey y'all, hey, Tamika Chapman here. I'm excited to be here, CEO of Mogul Media, founder of Mogul TV Global Network, and I'm just excited to be here in the midst of all of this greatness. It's actually really going to be a great time tonight.
Absolutely. And then we have Raquel on my left.
Hey y'all, I hope you had a great day. I'm super excited, energized, her. We are back in this thing, and I'm just energized because we have some great things to talk about. Hope y'all enjoy.
Thank you. And then there is the amazing LaJune.
Hey, guys. Yes, yes. I hope you guys are having a great week. It's hump day. So let's do this. Let's talk about relationships.
Let's talk about it.
And we got to give a shout out to Kalika, who is our fifth person, not necessarily in that order, but she is on a flight. She's catching flights, right? Got to catch another flight. She's catching
right.
flights.
Gotta catch another flight.
Right. We're such trailblazers. But we're going to dive right in. And so this conversation, Tamika, that I'm going to start off with you and talk about how parents can effectively manage their time and prioritize their responsibilities. Now, here is the thing. You know that better than anybody, maintaining a healthy relationship in your marriage and a healthy relationship between your children. Let's have that discussion.
Listen, relationships between the kids. Let's start with the kids, right? Um, the kids know no boundaries. You know, they're toddlers, and me having to teach them boundaries. I mean, I can't tell them give me 5 minutes because they're kids. They don't, they're toddlers. They don't understand the concept of a minute or 2 or 5 minutes. However, I'll say if you do this while mommy is doing this, then when we both finish, now we can have some time together. So it's like I have to let them understand that I'm still here. I still will give you my attention. However, when mommy is busy doing something, I need that time. It is not all the time that I do that, because most times when people call me on the phone, LaJune, she will hear she will hear them 24/7. Mama, I need this. Mama, can I do this? Mama, I want you to hold me. Right. And so it's always just me wanting them to understand that I love them and that I'm here for them. However, mommy needs that time when I need that time. So my relationship with them, I love my relationship because I'm never the serious one unless I have to like tell them to sit down somewhere. But I love my relationship because I love to play with them. I've waited so long for them to get here, and now that they're here, I'm just like I'm never gonna make them feel like I just don't have the time for them. So with them, it's more of giving them things to do so that they understand the concept of, okay, as soon as I get finished with this, mama should be finished with hers. And most times it's like I'll put them at ABC Mouse. I need you to finish all 15 lessons. When you finish all 15 lessons, mama's gonna be ready to play with you. And so that's how I do with my kids. With my husband, a whole different ball game. All right. However, we've been here for a little over 24 years now, married, and he understands like when I am in my work mode. Okay, I'm in my work mode. If you break my concentration when you see me reading, sir, it's about to be a problem. However, he understands and he supports when I'm in my work mode, which I appreciate. And I really appreciate that because a lot of times I know when I first began, there was no boundary at all. It was okay, we need to talk. I gotta say something to you. Okay, we gotta have a conversation. Just like, bro, but you see me reading, you see me working, like you see this, right? So for me, it was having that conversation and letting him know, okay, this is my schedule. I had to give myself a schedule for the family. This is my schedule. So when you see on the board that there is a big X, that means that I'm not available. But other than that, like I'm free game. But me, I just created a schedule for the household that works for everybody. So a schedule that, when the kids first wake, it's breakfast, but then it's school time. So I dedicate that time to them. So that way, when it's time for me to work, I don't have to really worry about them wanting to have all of my time, the entire day. So that's kind of the relationship that I have with mine.
Well, I want to ask LaJune a question, and then I'm going to ask Raquel this question because you don't have children, and you deal with women who. So it's two and two. I have children, two brown boys, 24 and 14. How is it, when you are having a relationship with a mom? Does it take a special type of gift with? And both of you are CEOs, your bosses, right? Trailblazers. How is it when you hire people with children and all of these excuses? Because we have to address that elephant in the room.
Right.
So I work with a lot of women who are moms, and I work with women who aren't moms. And during 2020 and 2020 and 2021, I was going to clients' homes, and their kids can definitely tell when someone is genuine and when someone is, caring. It's like pets. So I would go to their home and their kids are showing me their toys and they're jumping all on me or whatever. And the moms are telling me about, their kids and what's going on with their kids. And I engage with them about their kids because that's a part of them. So I had a client this morning who was telling me what she's doing this weekend. She's like, her daughter has cheerleading tryouts and her son has a soccer tournament. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So is that with her high school or is that with the organization, the cheer organization that you guys been working with? And she's like, oh, it's with the cheer organization. So it's that relationship because literally her kids see me like family. I've been working with her for 2 years now. So, that she'll say, behave, we got company. And they're like, who? And they're like, she's like, oh, well, they don't see you as company anymore. They see you as family. So that is, I think that's important because even when Tamika and I are on the phone, I'm talking to her kids because I love kids. I help raise my older niece and nephew. It's just not something that I really wanted for myself, but I love kids. I work with kids in schools. I personal train kids one-on-one. So, I think definitely working with clients with kids is important to be in tune with them, but not always make it about the kids. How are you feeling about yourself and what's going on with you?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so good, LaJune. Thank you so much for that. I know you can be talking to Tamika and she'll be like, wait a minute, mama. So for you, Raquel, do you hire, are there any moms that work for you currently?
I would honestly say I can agree exactly with what LaJune was speaking about because one of my business partners, which is actually my best friend, she has two amazing kids, and somebody else that I work with as well within the company, she has two kids as well, and I've just learned to just embrace them. Really, I love being around kids and just seeing them light up, honestly, and so I just try to be their friend as well because, like she said, the children are a part of them. And if we're able to just cultivate them as well, I feel like it can make that just transaction even more smoother. And another thing that I've just learned in the midst of this is trying to just pick their brains, because I have been so just blown away by how amazing and how talented these younger kids are and just how talented everyone is. And so with the fact that, okay, I have a company that has three different realms, figuring out, okay, well, do you find interest in multimedia or public relations and even strategic branding? So how to get them started early and just letting them know, you're never too young to start a business. You're never too young to get hands-on experience. So that way, you know what it is that you want to do. And so I just embrace them and I treat them like they're my friends. I'd be like, hey, I almost said my friend's name, my friend's daughter's name. I was like, hey girl, how are you? Because I can tell when, one thing that I also notice about children is when they see their mom's attention somewhere else, they'll try their hardest to get their attention. So try to embrace everything so that it could just be all smooth. And I just love it.
Wow. So it sounds like you two are the ideal auntie, the ones that the children can come to you and talk to you about anything. I have two sisters who don't have children, and my sons can talk to them about anything. So you have a sacred place, though, because what they won't tell mom, they'll definitely tell you two. So, hey, make sure you hold that to high regard as we're talking about relationships on tonight. So, can I just cut through the chase after that, like, sweet little conversation about our children and talk about working with other brown and black women?
Mm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tamika, and just dive into that play.
Listen, we can dive all the way in.
Breathe in and breathe out. Everybody breathe in. For those that will be watching the replay, breathe in and breathe out. For those that are on Clubhouse, everybody breathe in and breathe out.
Breathe in and take a deep breath. A deep breath in, y'all, okay?
From the gut.
So listen, Tamika, you and I, when we first started working together, I had mothers of brown boys. And so for me, it's, some people call us African Americans, black. God said that, you know what, we're light, and dark, dark, and we got a beautiful shade, a beautiful hue of brown, if you will. And so my question, because, for me, this is kind of the past, 3 years is kind of new for me, because my audience, I'll be honest, we're mostly Caucasian males or gay black males. That was my audience. They love me. I love them. We all got along and we live happily ever after, right? But for the past 2.5 years, and I love y'all on Clubhouse, I have been inundated with loving on us. And there is a healing that's taking place, even with what you're doing, Tamika, what you're doing, Raquel. LaJune is like, look, all of us need to lose weight because of diabetes and all of that. So it looks like at some point we all had to have a come to Jesus meeting with, I truly am my sister's keeper. Now, this conversation can go in a couple ways. I am going to allow, we're going to start with LaJune to talk about, let's just talk about the good of it all at first, right? Let's talk about how your relationship with brown women like yourself, or black women like yourself, whatever you choose to call yourself. Let's journey into this, if we will, okay? Mm-hmm. And we'll start with you, LaJune. So I know it's kind of open-ended, but I think when I said this, even those that are come back and listen to the replay, those on Clubhouse, everybody has an experience of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And the ugly.
Good.
The ugly.
Should we start with the ugly? Y'all get to decide. Okay, if it's a good, do this. If you want to start with the bad, do this. If you want to start with the ugly, do this.
Let's start with the good.
Let's start with the good. Okay, we're gonna start with the good in these relationships. Come on, LaJune. Let's talk about how amazing and awesome we are. Let's go.
I can definitely say I love working with our community of women. To empower them and help them become healthier and get their mindset, their bodies right, their health right. That is something that I feel is definitely needed in our community, because we deal with so many chronic illnesses, obesity. We don't speak up for ourselves. We are people pleasers. We are the yes people. And I think it's important to let women know you have a voice. It's okay for you to say no. I just had a conversation with a client earlier who's being mistreated by a cardiologist, nurse practitioner. And I said to her, if it's a facility that has multiple clinicians there, you can ask for somebody else. You don't have to see that person and get the treatment that you're getting. And also report that, because they need to know, because that could be happening to multiple other people. Get that person out of there so they can put the right people in to treat and service patients. And she's like, I didn't know I could do that. That's what I enjoy, educating and advocating, because a lot of our Black and brown women don't know.
Wow, that is so powerful. So when you said that, LaJune, I thought about this meme that I saw where there was this big sister and the little sister, and it was like she was going to the bus stop to say, I can treat her bad, but you can't, or I can mistreat her, but you can. I'm not going to allow you to mistreat that. It sounds like, Raquel, that we are really, really, really keen on, we're going to take care of our sisters and not allow those that betrayed us in the past to bring over. We're not going to allow that stuff to spill over into the now. Let's talk about that, if you will.
Yes, I completely agree. And it's ironic that you said that because I always like to reference this because I've experienced it. Just coming up in Houston and just trying to develop in an entrepreneurial mind state. There's a percentage in our city who is supportive. We come together. And then there is a percentage that has that crab in a bucket theory type of mindset, and they don't want to see other individuals win. And I've learned that the hard way. And so I've learned to just really love on my sisters and really figure out, like, especially working in the line of media where it is male predominant and they feel like women can't don't have a voice or don't have a vision. And so figuring out how to empower women in media, and not only in media but just together with working with each other, because I feel like it makes us more strong. And I'm happy that so right before I was about to speak, the Lord placed on my heart to mention this project that I just got done doing with the March of Dimes. And I don't know if everyone is familiar with the March of Dimes and their mission and how they really do cater to Black and brown women. And my mind was blown through this entire process of working with them, because I didn't realize that in the medical industry, as women are giving birth, the people who get a chance to have birth, I didn't know that they were being unheard. They were going through these hospitals and they were going through these situations where they were struggling. And to be able to capture and hear these stories, it just opened my eyes in another perspective of, we need each other. We need to be able to pull one another up. We need to be able to have that sister we can call and be like, hey, girl, I'm not in the best mind state right now. I need somebody to talk to. This person just did this to me business wise. How do I handle this? Or what is it that I can do? So I feel like it's very, very, very key. And I'm not gonna lie, sis, I kind of feel like I went off on a tangent. I don't know if I answered your
No,
question.
no, no, no. No, actually, no, you did. You did. You answered the question, but you said something so pivotal that
Mm,
honestly, if we're going to talk about relationships, we've got to address that.
yeah.
Being vulnerable enough to make
Mm,
a phone call. And my audience knows I am the queen of saying, hey, rescue me. The devil is talking to me and I'm starting to listen. You
mm,
said something so powerful. We've got to get to the point that we can pick up the phone when we are offended or when something is bothering us and be able to conversate that with somebody that's healthy, that can
mm.
talk us through it. Let's talk about that,
Yes.
Tamika, because you're that for a lot of people. You know how to talk people off of a ledge and not quit their purpose. Let's talk about that, Tamika.
Listen, I say thank God. Okay. I say thank God. Because I know what it feels like. For a long time, I used to be um, on the edge of, okay, I don't really want to deal with you today. I don't want to deal with you today. I don't want to deal with you today because I got my own stuff going on. So I used to just put on that smile and say, okay, it's okay. What do you need? What you need? What you got going on? But it came to a point I had to just save myself first. I had to save me before I could continue to save anybody else. When it came time for me working with other Black and brown women, women of color. Um, I wanted to see them excel. I wanted to see them grow. I wanted to see them, live out their wildest dream, whatever that dream was, because I have always believed that no matter what it is that we want to do in life, we can actually do it. We just have to believe it. That's the first step. Believe that we can actually do it, and then just start taking some steps. It's not going to happen immediately. It may not happen the next day, but I believe that if we continue to take those individual steps, which are, the steps are breaking down the task, knocking those tasks out the way, getting it done, making it, feel like you want it to be. But also the next thing is living as if it's already happened.
Mm.
So that's my whole thing of when I when I began to work with women of color, it was more of the mindset that I had to help them overcome, help them get past. And me, I've been called a big dreamer. I've been called the lady who thinks of the wildest, most biggest dreams. But my thing is, okay, if I dreamed it, I dreamed it for a reason. If I had a vision of it, I had it for a reason. So it's meant for me to go and do that. I can do it because I dreamed it. I saw it. If I see it, oh, it's a done deal. And so that's the mindset that I have always wanted other people that are around me to be in. Because if we both can think like that, Oh man, we own it. We are on it. And so when it comes to just working with others, me wanting to see everybody succeed, as long as we are on the same page about what that success looks like for them and what it looks like for me, what it looks like for us as a collab, we've all been there. We can do whatever it is that we're wanting to do. Ron is saying we need those powerful connections to push us into purpose. Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on it.
Wow, that was an amazing answer. So let me tell y'all, you are with some amazing, amazing women tonight. Strong Black woman. Oh my gosh, we are trying to get rid of that invisible cape. We're talking about that invisible cape that we all wear sometimes as strong Black women. We have the media mogul herself who owns Media Mogul television, the station, right? She
Yes,
owns it, and she has
Mogul TV Global Network. Yes, absolutely.
Mogul TV Global Network. And so we're having a conversation tonight. Last week, we talked about personal development. This week, we're talking about managing home life, parenting, and relationships. And we've got to talk about all types of relationships. And if we're talking about being strong Black women and finally getting rid of that invisible cape, we have to talk about the good, the black, bad, and ugly of our interdependent relationships that we have with one another. My next question that I do want to ask, and I know this is really, really interesting because we talked about the good of it, but let's talk about, because I think it's safe to say that maybe 90% of us have been hurt by one of us.
Yeah.
Let's talk to people who decide to stay in that position of I've been hurt and I never want to give it another try. Let's have that discussion. We'll start with you, Lejeune.
Of course, it's that part of people pleasing. For me, it was wanting to keep people around because I lost my dad at a young age. So it was like I was trying to hold on to people, but that turns into toxic situations where you allow people to mistreat you. And when they're saying certain things to you in the back of your head, you like, no, you didn't. But that part of you is like, but this person did this for me and they gave me this and they're, this and this and this. And we do that. And it's not healthy. It's great that people are there for you and support you, but people can't mistreat you or talk to you in a kind of way. That's not acceptable and that's not okay. So I had to learn that when it came to, and I definitely learned for women, I was holding on tighter because me and my mom, our relationship is becoming better, but we didn't have a good relationship. And I was holding on tight to female friends because I needed that. And once 2019, after I went to Bali and I realized, you know what? You got to let go of the people who aren't serving you or not treating you well. Those are not healthy relationships where you feel drained every time you talk to them, or you're like, you see them calling and you're like, I don't want to talk to them because I already know they're going to say something negative or something not encouraging. And you really have to look at people who you can and can't share things with because how their responses are to you.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Right.
So, listen, that was so power packed, and I'll tell you why. So, I have a room on Clubhouse with over 8,000. I think it's almost 9,000 people. Right? It started out as a single mompreneur club. Now it is the Millionaire Mompreneur Club, and it's a total of 51 have been in this room today listening to the conversation. And so, my question for you, Raquel, how do you handle after you guys?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat the question? Kind of breaking up.
Okay, how do you handle it when you have to?
How do I handle
it when you have to let somebody go? A toxic relationship with another sister.
I'm sorry. As you, speaking of the topic of kids, my niece just walked in, so excuse that. But hey, we talked about embracing them, so hey. um, that's a really good question and a loaded question. And it's funny that you asked me that because I am currently going through a situation like that now where I have someone in my life and I know they're not good for me. Or I believe, and I'm gathering it because of the responses that I've been getting from them. And I'm trying to think, are you really for me? Do I really have your support? And so it's something that I've been having to pray about and ask God to help me converse with this person or even bring this matter up, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to sabotage anything and just completely maybe cut them out of my life, or just more so put them in a category. And it made me remind myself, it brought me back to this, I think it was on TikTok, or I can't remember what platform it was on. And this woman was speaking about how you have to categorize your friends. Sometimes what you share, what I share with one friend may not be what I'm going to share with the next friend. What I may do in one element, I may not be able to do with this particular friend. So figuring out how to categorize my friends and really be unapologetic about it and understand, like, you know what, I am walking into becoming my own woman. I am trying to walk in my calling. And sometimes, like they say, you can't take everybody on the boat with you when you out in the deep. So
sometimes you can throw them off. Okay.
Let me stop.
What a life jacket. Yeah. What a life
well, the irony of it is this, and this is something that I've often preached, is this: go on a 3-day fast, give it 3 days, God will show you. I believe that. I stand by that, and he'll show. And then some people would just disqualify themselves because they know they're not supposed to be there. They just know that your future is very, very bright.
Right.
One thing that I want to add before I bring Tamika in is sometimes people stick around because what you can do for them, even if it's not now,
that part.
also in the future. You check some of these relationships to see, if you check some of these relationships to say, okay, let me put all the cards on the table. What are you bringing to the table? I think what we'll find is sometimes we are engaged in relationships where we are the table. We bring them to the table, and they're not bringing anything at that particular time. So we just have to readjust a little, not cut everybody off, because we can't go in the world cutting everybody off, but you can definitely readjust some people and put them on a 3-day fast as well. Tamika,
can I say something real quick though?
Yes.
Oh, listen, I have become the queen of letting folks cut themselves off, because I got to the point of, I don't want to cut you off, but I want you to see exactly who you are. You're going to have to cut yourself off.
That's good.
Like, seriously. And I had fun with it.
Well, here is it. Let me preacherly reel it back in, because yes, it can be because you can watch it like you're watching a movie.
Right.
And sometimes we can set people up to set themselves up. Here is the irony of it. It's soothing in the flesh when people cut themselves off. But what happens, and this may take a turn and we can just table it, what happens when God sends them back?
There's a fee.
When the girl in here, she said there's a fee. What happens when God says you have to go back and get your sister? You know she crazy as a spray roach, but you have to go back and you have to get her. What happens then?
I pray. I have to pray a lot. Okay. Because here's the thing. For me, people can't just walk back up in my life, right? If God didn't reveal it to me, I'll say this. If God didn't reveal it to me, you can't just walk back up in my life after you dismissed yourself. Because I can say, I haven't cut anybody off. I'm just like, I'll leave the door open. Now I may limit communication. Okay. I may limit communication because I need my own moment to really just think about some things. Right.
Right.
But I've had people like truly just cut me off for no apparent reason. I'm just like, okay, it wasn't meant for you to be here. Or it was because I didn't give in to what they wanted me to do. And when I don't give in, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm a whole grown woman. I don't have to do what someone else wants me to do just because you want me to do it, because it serves you. It's not serving a greater purpose. is not creating a greater impact. And it definitely is not serving me to sit here and just keep showing up for you individually, right? But I pray every single day. And if somebody walks themselves back into my life, like it just recently happened, probably about, I would say about a month ago. About a month ago, I had a lady who reached out and they wasn't too sure on whether I would receive them back. And I was just like, I haven't changed. I'm still the same. Like you cut off communication with me. I didn't cut the communication off. I'm still here. Tamika's not changed. I'm still the good country girl from the country of Louisiana. Okay. I love to laugh. I love to have a good time. Right. But it was more of the situation that happened. And I still had no control over that. I just know that I had to stand my own ground with how I am and who I am and not just give in, because me giving in was going to cause me to sit here and lose sleep. It was going to cause me to feel like, okay, why did I do that? Like I'm wasting so much more of my time. But no, if I, my words were to her, well, I'm gonna need you to pray about it and see if God sends you back over here. Because you coming over here, that's you coming back. But I want God to send you back, and I'm gonna do the same. So we ended up reconnecting, and it's been good. It's been good, I think. But we have a greater understanding for each other, and a greater respect for each other's time and what it is that we're doing. So I don't just cut people off just to cut them off. Like yeah. All that good
Well,
stuff.
here is the thing. I'm not judging either way. I mean, if I had a transparent moment, it would be like when you leave, you gone. If you come back, depending on how you left, let me pray about it. So before we go any further, and my team and some of the people work would be like, "Not Savage," you'd be like, "I don't bring." I do seek God on some of that, and I don't mind sending you your text messages saying this may be paid. Well, this is why we don't talk. You said this, and I obliged. What do we do now? And I'm busy.
Right.
And so,
Right.
but then what you can do though is if God tells you to if God tells you to rekindle a relationship, because some people just outgrow each other or they just go in different ways. Sometimes there are things that happen, we separate, and nothing bad happened. We just went separate ways. Those are the ones that I love. But if you were a little bit interesting, for a lack of a better adjective or verb, if you were a little bit interested, then I do think that I have to have a come to Jesus meeting with Jesus about it, and so do some of us as well. Can I ask you something? Have you ever been taught how to end a relationship that you knew should have been ended? Have you ever taught that, hey, this is not going anywhere? I had somebody do me like that one time. This is, hey, God is taking me in this direction, and sent me a text message. I had about 3 people, and they asked me what happened to us. I just resent them the text message. So have you have we been taught in a culture how to have relationships and how to end relationships that we know are at a dead end? Let's start with you, LeJune. Were you taught that?
No. So it was no, not at all. Either I saw my mom, it was certain friends she was friends with, and then all of a sudden that person wasn't calling anymore. They weren't hanging out anymore. And it was never a conversation of what happened. These are female, friends that she had. And it's like, well, why aren't they friends anymore? And honestly, I never got into it with her to see, well, what happened with your friend such and such and such. But I know for me, I had to make some decisions because, especially it was a situation last year where me and this, I think it's a Southern thing because I'm very forgiving and I'm like a kid. You know how kids fight and then they back outside knocking on the kid door like, well, can Tamika come out and play? That's me. Because I don't hold on and harbor onto things, and especially if I feel somebody's a good friend. But when it's a situation where I'm seeing there is no forgiveness on the other person's side, I had to make a choice for me that, you know what, my mental and my well-being is more important. if they were to come back, I would definitely, receive them. But at the same time, I'm not going to allow you to mistreat me because you haven't let go of what happened between us.
Right.
So let me ask you this, Tamika. What happens when they come back delusional?
The door is never like I can see delusion 100 miles away, right? I'll open the door. I cannot open that door. Like if we have a conversation, I open the door, I crack it for us to have a conversation. And if that conversation leads me to really just know that you really are not really trying to move forward in anything in life, you want to complain, you want to stay in your comfort zone of just complaining, nothing's working. They did this to me, he or she did this to me. Okay, well, we got to move forward. I cannot, like me personally, I cannot stay in that same place. If you've done me wrong, you've written yourself off, because I don't cut people off. But if you've written yourself and took yourself away because Tamika wasn't moving the way you wanted her to move, or Tamika didn't do what you wanted her to do, and you come back and you still on that same thing, well, listen, you didn't do this and I'm not changing. This is who I am. And you just need to get with the program. Yeah, we're not going to open that door. I'm not opening the door. That crack is going to be closed right back, because I'm not allowing that in my life. I can't allow that in my life if I'm going to continue to move forward. Like I have a whole family. I have a whole business that's not contingent upon me being friends with you. I'm just saying. If my business is moving forward without you in my life, I promise you it's going to continue to move forward without you being in my life right now. And that's the way that I had to become, because again, I have things that I'm working on, things that I need to make sure that my mental is clear for, not giving my focus to something that's not going to move forward in any kind of way, personally nor professionally.
That's a really solid answer. Thank you, ladies. This is so good. So, Raquel, my question for you is this. Can you think of one person, and of course we don't want names. Can you think
Name
of
them, girl.
Okay.
Name them.
I know you don't. Can you think of somebody that you just like, the enemy took that from me? The enemy stole that friendship. This did not have to end. And maybe not at the time, but can you look back and say, that may not have to end that way. Let's talk about that.
Yes, a very good dear friend of mine. Honestly, I want to say it was about like 4 or 5 years ago. I became friends with this young lady. She was amazing. I thought of her as my sister. She actually had moved from a different state, and she was coming out here. She was going to college, and we were actually on a radio show together. We co-hosted together. We just really cultivate this amazing relationship, and I really believe that at that time, there was so much going on in our lives personally, mentally, and we weren't able to see eye to eye about something. And the way that our friendship ended was because she felt that I was not there for her. And it was not that I wasn't there for her. It was that at the time that, okay, you know how like you call somebody and you're touching base with them, and you're trying to cultivate the relationship, and then they're ignoring you and things of that sort. It became to the point where I felt that I was reaching out because I was trying to, like I was looking at her as a little sister, and I was trying to make sure she was good. But I think she was afraid to tell me where she really was, because she was somewhere with one of her significant others that was not good for her. And I was just trying to touch base with her and say, hey, how are things going? What's going on here? And I hadn't heard from her, and it went like literally a week and a half. And I was just like, hey, just wanted to tap in with you, sis. I just want to make sure you're good. She was like, yeah, I'm going to call you sometime next week. And I'm just like, okay, well, let me just put a pause in it. And then the day that she called me and she was in need, I had a crew coming over to my house because I was doing a product commercial, and they were delivering furniture. And she called and she needed me to come where she was in that moment, and because something happened and she needed somebody to come I don't want to say rescue her, but come to her need. And I was like, hey, I literally just signed a contract with these people. And so they were coming in. I said, hey, I'm not able to physically come. Let me send somebody to get you. Let me send somebody for you. And she didn't want that. She wanted me to come. And so I was between a rock and a hard place, because I just like I said, I just had a client come and they were delivering furniture, so I had to be present. And so I was just like, well, let's figure this out. And I didn't even know that you were in that location. I've been trying to contact you for the last week and a half, a month, and what's going on? And she felt at that moment that I chose money over our friendship, and that was not the case at all. I was trying to send someone to her, and I reached out, I apologized. I was just like, hey, I could definitely understand where you're coming from. I had no idea that this was going on. How can we make this work? How can we rekindle this friendship? And 5 years now, 5 years to this day, I still have not heard from her. But I definitely feel like if we both were in a different mental place, the relationship would have still been alive, or and things of that sort. So that's that.
Mm-hmm. That was so, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I think what has to happen is these conversations are so important and they are so vital, because this is our world. This is what happens. There are some people that don't speak to us and we have no idea why. There are some people we don't speak to, and we feel like they ought to know what they did. So there's this big rotation and cycle of relationships that go unspoken for, or that are broken, and nobody knows why. And so I'm hoping that this conversation, Tamika, and I'm going to give it to you, I'm hoping that this conversation bring a level of awareness to us, that we say, wait a second. And I've done this before. I did this recently, and one of my friends could not believe it. In the last year, there was somebody that was about to get away, and I was like, wait a second. The enemy always coming for my friendships. He cannot come for this one. It was never my MO. If you're gone, you're gone. And so there's so many people for me to minister to when I'm always doing something for somebody else. I'm glad I went, because there was a wedge that somebody else had driven that I had no idea about it. And so the next time you decide to end a relationship or say she knows better, and that's for those that have come back for the replay, those that are on Clubhouse, make sure you ask the question, especially pray about it and say, God, is this the enemy that's causing a divide? And I'll tell people all the time, and for you ladies, you have teams. You have a team of people. This is what I tell my team. You are at the table because I want you here. Don't let the enemy talk to you. I don't have time to come back and say, I love you, I love you, I love you. You're here because I desire for you to be here. When I'm ready for you to go, when it's over, I don't mind having a conversation with you. But I think sometimes we need to put things in place so that we don't perpetuate the pain. And we can get into people need to be healed a whole nother day. But so that we don't perpetuate the pain, or we don't ourselves pick up bags of brokenness from other Black women and brown women like us. Tamika, I want to yield to you, because I know you understand this and you can articulate this so very well. So I definitely want to yield to you.
Listen, and listen. Listen, for me, as you said, Dr. Tavis, if I don't just tell you I don't want you here, that means you should stay right there, right? But I think we all should have a moment in time where we give each other an opportunity to just feel, to just be, and not be perfect. Because for me, I hold myself to such a high level with everything that I do. Like everything that I do, I hold myself to a high level, and then I think by default, I make other people hold me to that high level too, right? And it's all because of I want everything that I do, everything that I say, every impact that I try to make, I want it to be at such a high level so that people understand that I care, right? And sometimes I think that I have gone so far overboard of just giving, because I want to make sure that they care, and because I didn't hear it. And again, that stems back to some other stuff, from older days of not hearing it. So you just continue to go, you continue to give, you continue to do, you continue to serve. But for me, which is what Energize is all about. It's allowing us to just really talk about our own mental, how we are feeling, why are we feeling the way that we feel. But as us, as Black and Black women of color, we need to get to a point where we are okay just feeling, and just addressing the feelings that we have right now, regardless of what we're going through, regardless of who did what to us, how it's making us feel. None of that matters if you're not whole. You can't really address it in a healthy way if you're not mentally all there. And so, yeah, Dr. Tavis, you asked me about if they come back delusional. I think a lot of times we have to make sure that we're also not being delusional to the conversations and to the relationships as well, regardless, regardless of who did what. We have to also just make sure that our mental is clear, our thoughts and our actions and our desires for each relationship that we have is clear, clearly defined for us and clearly defined for the woman that who is our friend, right? Who is that lady that potentially will be in our life and will be in our lives for a long time. But at the end of the day, listen, Dr. Tavis, thank you so much. Thank you so much for leading the charge on tonight's conversation that's all about, relationships, different types of relationships, but specifically relationships of women with women of color. I think is really, really important. Now we didn't get to the bad and the ugly all the way in, okay? We didn't get all the way
I
into
think we got deep
ugly.
enough, though. Don't you think so, LeJune? We got deep enough, and if they look at our faces, they
Yeah,
can tell
I
it
think
runs deep.
it was some deep stuff. Definitely when it comes to letting relationships go and how that looks. So yeah.
Right, right. So before we end, I want to make sure that each lady gets an opportunity to share with how our audience can connect with you, how they can find you, whether that's your website or social media and all of that good stuff. So let's do that. And then I'm going to play a couple of videos here. I want everybody to tune in for that. But this has been absolutely amazing. Again, thank you, Dr. Tavis. I knew that you were going to come through and shut it down the way that you do. And so thank you so much for, right? um, Thank you so much for coming through with that. So let's go with you, LaJune. How can our listening and viewing audience find you on socials or your website?
So you can find me at lejunesingleton.com. You can find me on Instagram. I am Lejeune Singleton, Facebook and LinkedIn. Lejeune Singleton. I'm on TikTok as well, so you can find me on those platforms. And you can also check out my videos on Mogul TV Global.
Y'all
June,
better
I'm
come with
coming
the
back. Yeah.
Period.
And also the
listen.
big
But
one
get a people
is
response.
suffering with or have suffered with eating disorders. That's anorexic, bulimia, obesity, binge eating, laxatives. That's a form of an eating disorder. Please contact me. I'm doing a series on eating disorder, especially in the Black community, because it's not talked about
Right.
ever, and we just suffer and we deal with it. We talk about it with white people, but we never talk about it with Black people because we do suffer from it. And I've been on both ends. I've been anorexic and I've been pre-obesity. So hit me up, lejunesingleton.com, or you can email me info@lejunesingleton to be a guest on the series.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here first. Get connect with LaJune. She'll be able to help you with all of that good stuff. All right. All of the stuff that you don't want to deal with, health and nutrition, wellness, fitness, dealing with all of that. Yeah, don't come to Tamika, go to LaJune. Okay, that's what you're here for. All right. Rocky, tell the folks how they can connect with you.
What's going on? So y'all can connect with me on Instagram. My Instagram is Raquel RAQUEL underscore LAMA. Hold on, I almost forgot. LAMARIE. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn as well at Raquel Marie Sims. And you can also visit our site that's under construction right now at www.lamariemedia.com. And if you go to my Instagram, I have a link tree that has a plethora of links, and I actually have my Calendly link. So if anyone wants to schedule a free consultation call with me, bring any vision to life that you have in mind, don't hesitate, click the link. And even if you just want to call and just like chat, if you heard something on tonight's topic that you just wanted to, hey, like we say, hey, call up that sister and say, hey, I'm actually dealing with something right now. What is the best way for me to effectively communicate with my X, Y, and Z, so that way we can make this a better relationship? So yep. And then I'm trying to think of anything else. I want to say that that's it, so y'all can reach out to me then. And then my email is lamariemedia@gmail.com.
Awesome, awesome. You heard it from Raquel. Rocky, y'all call Rocky. Okay. If y'all want to talk about something that y'all heard tonight, how to communicate with somebody. I'm not the person for that. Okay. Call Rocky.
Call Rocky, not Tamika and Taz.
So listen, Dr. Tavis Taylor, please tell the folks how they can find and connect with you as well.
Hey, listen, thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been simply amazing on tonight. I'm so honored. So you can find me on Instagram, the easiest way, ask Dr. Tavis. I am there. Or you can find me in the clubhouse streets. Like I hang out there every morning, Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. in the Millionaire Mompreneur Hub. We are worshiping at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But back channel me if you are a mompreneur, entrepreneur, and you are interested in either scaling, growing, or starting your business, especially those that are life coaches. I can put you on a path to 6 figures that's going to bless your life. Just follow me on Instagram, ask Dr. Tavis, and I am there. Thank you so much, Tamika.
Awesome, awesome. And so you all can connect with me. I'm everything Energizer at Energize Her on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, website energizeherlife.com. You can find me there. You'll find everything there is to know about Energizer. And here we're looking to energize your life, lifestyle, personal development, professional development, finances, fitness, health, and wellness. What else we got? Career. We have business. Yes, we are energizing your business. We're energizing everything about you as a woman of color, leader, and CEO. So listen, I'm looking forward to energizing with all of you all. And for any of you who are interested in having a TV show, having a podcast on the Energizer channel, now is your time. So if you visit energizerlife.com, you'll see all the little prompts up there at the top. Click on one and connect. All right. So thank you all for tuning in to tonight's amazing episode with these powerhouse women. Listen, Carlika, we miss you, Mama. We miss you. We can't wait for you to get back. All right. Can't wait for you to get back. Thank you all for tuning in. Those who are here, those who are connecting with us, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And before we wrap up, I got some videos I just want you to watch real quick. We'll be right back.
If you want to make a positive shift in your health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness, start with the tools to redefine your mind. At Lejeune Singleton, we help you create the mental space needed for change. Next, we provide in-person and virtual personal training, health, mindset.
Menopause is not a disease, but a transition where we can all work together. That's why we're excited to have MAP, the Menopause Advocate Program. We're implementing the 4A method in the workplace, promotes health and well-being strategies, which increases performance, productivity, and profitability. For more information, visit bit.ly/ all capital letters, MAP-PRO. Or you can reach out directly to Carlita Bass Knight Menendez at 912-322-8380.
Interesting. Thank you all. I'll see you all later. Good night.
All right, y'all. Listen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We'll be back next Wednesday for another amazing episode here with Strong Black Woman. We hope that you all tune in. And as a As a matter of fact, go share this broadcast, because not only are we on Mogul TV Global Network, but we are coming to you across all social media platforms, because we want to be interactive and engaged with you every time we hit the air. So make sure you share this broadcast with everybody you know. Tell them tune in. If they are a strong Black woman, they need to be here. And if you don't know a strong Black woman, it's because you are a strong Black woman and they are all around you. Okay, so make sure